Hi, hello, and welcome to Lily's Library. So today we're going to be going through the 8 books I managed to read in June, as well as the 2 books I picked up and bought during the month. Okay, so I read 4 physical books, 2 ebooks, and listened to 2 audiobooks. So we're going to start with the first book I read, which was actually one I had started in May, but I didn't actually get around to finishing. Now that book was The Ending Fire by Sarah El-Arifi. This is the 3rd and final book in the Ending Fire trilogy, and I had a really good time with this. I still think The Battle Drum, which is book 2, is the best out of this trilogy, but this was a really good wrap up and conclusion to it. There's definitely one thing at the end that I misinterpreted and I was talking to a friend about, and we both had very different understandings of what happened. So I am planning on going back and rereading probably the last couple of chapters and thinking back on what actually happened to those characters. But I just really enjoyed this. I thought this was a very solid and good conclusion. I do really enjoy Sarah El-Arifi's writing and her world and her characters. I just loved seeing them grow and change. Anor's character progression has been so interesting as well. She's a very annoying character, but I feel like she's also very realistic. So I did like seeing that kind of growth and change throughout her. And it is very accurate to a person who is very easily swayed and influenced. So I did think that was a good touch, albeit not very enjoyable to read. Next up, I read another book that was a carryover, and that was Cleat Cute by Meryl Wills. Now, this is actually one I started earlier in the year, and I've been kind of slowly making my way through it. I thought this was just fine. It was a very cute romance. I think this would make a fantastic TV show, and I know it is in the works, and it was just very fun, but I really just found myself struggling to connect to it. I've been struggling a bit with reading in the past month, so you will see that a bit in some books that I just really struggled to connect, and there's probably ones that I should have DNF'd, and there is one that I actually did DNF that I'll talk about at the end. But I just thought this would be very fun and sweet and cute, but nothing all that special in my opinion. I did love the discussions around openness and outness in the sports world and being a sporting celebrity and being too scared to come out because of that and because of the invasion of privacy that you already deal with. So I found that to be very interesting, as well as the discussions around ADHD. I thought that was a very nice touch as well, but I really just enjoyed this one and thought it was good overall, but nothing I would really read again. Speaking of sapphic reads, I ended up reading Cauldrons and Campfires. This is by Ali K. Mulford and K.L. Morrison. This is another book that's kind of set in the Maple Hollow universe, but this is part of the Lake Nevermore series. I don't know if we're going to be getting other books in this, but this is titled Lake Nevermore 1, so I guess we'll find out in time. But I found this to be really fun and cute and sweet, a very fast and easy read as well. I just absolutely adore these authors. I think they do such a good job of writing romances, and they're just always such addictive and fun reads. This is a witchy and paranormal summer camp romance, and I just loved it so much. Again, I really love the discussions around sexuality and finding your place in the world and kind of discovering where you really want to belong, and that found family aspect. Another book with heavy found family aspects was Voyage of the Damned. This is by Frances White. I listened to this primarily on audiobook and then ran out of Spotify audiobook listening hours when I had literally 1 chapter left. So I read that physically, but I really enjoyed this. This was a really pleasant surprise. It was so fun and entertaining and engaging. I have been really enjoying mysteries at the moment, so this just kind of came at the perfect time. I loved the dynamics between all of the characters. We've got such a large cast of characters in this that I found it to be really fun and entertaining. It's very, very queer as well, so much representation in it, and just so many twists and turns and shocks. I really didn't see where it was going. I did kind of call the magic ability that was tied to all these deaths, but I didn't realize who it was that was doing it, so I found that to be a very fun and interesting reveal. Very sad as well at times, but this was just such a great book. I'm definitely going to be picking up the author's other book when it comes out next month, I think it is, if I can find a copy of it. It sounds like it's going to be a lot darker, but I just really enjoyed this and the characters, and the newest book sounds absolutely phenomenal, so I'm very excited for this. Or for that one. But I don't know if I've explained what this is about before, but in this we follow 12 different magical heirs. They have all got different blessings and powers besides our main character. His father has kind of slept around a lot and has lots of other kids, so we don't know who actually took his father's blessing, and he's never had his blessing show up. And he ends up going on this boat journey with all of the other heirs, all of the other blessed, as part of this annual thing that they do when there's a new generation of blessed that are coming into their powers. But on that voyage and on that journey, people start getting killed, including the Dragon Empress, who or the dragon heir, she is like the leader, or soon to be the leader of these 12 kingdoms. And she ends up being the first to be murdered. And we follow these characters as they try and navigate and figure out what happened and piece together this murder, as well as trying to protect themselves, and our main character trying to find his own way while keeping his own secret about not being blessed. I thought this was just such a phenomenal read. After that, I read another digital book, and this was Destiny's Edge by M.L. Wang. This is a sapphic martial fantasy. I really enjoyed this. This is kind of more of a shorter book. It's only about 230 pages, and it's more of a prequel to this new fantasy series that she is working on. And I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was phenomenal. It was definitely my favorite book from the month. I thought it was just incredible in so many ways. I really just loved it. It had so many interesting characters, and the magic system was so fascinating. And I just really cannot wait till the rest of these books come out, because I know I'm already going to be loving them. They are incredible. But in this we follow Chi. She is our main character, and we start when her family has literally just been murdered and killed basically by this weird mysterious green fire that eats and kills everything and cannot be contained. She is there protecting her siblings when these raiders come up and try and kill her siblings and take her hostage. We skip 2 years later when she is now married to this warlord and to this champion, and she has had to go on a journey to pick up one of his new wives, who is the fated wife and the fated bride. And when they are journeying back to this champion, they end up getting attacked by bandits as well, and this green glow that is following Chi as well. And we follow them as they kind of have this relationship and this romance that blooms as they are kind of journeying and navigating these plains and trying to get back to this champion. And I just found it to be so fun and sweet and tense, and I really loved it. I love all of the characters and the way they interact, and it was just such a perfect and short read. Next up, I read Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. I had a really good time with this. This was a buddy read with 2 people over on TikTok, and I thought this was very solid. I don't think it's my favorite book in the Roots of Chaos cycle, but I still enjoyed it. This is a direct prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, so we're talking about the events that are directly leading up to that book. So we're kind of following the other side of things that we don't really get to see, which was something I really loved. I loved Morosa as a character. I loved seeing more of Iskalin. I think it was just such an interesting way that it expanded upon everything. I just was struggling with reading at this time when I did read this, so it did kind of lessen my experience with this and make it a bit more difficult at times, but I still think it's a really solid read. I'm still trying to decide on my exact rating, but I think it's somewhere between 3.5 and 4 stars, because I just was really struggling. It's not a fault of the book, but that does always change your influence and feelings when you are struggling, so yeah, but I still thought this was a very solid read. Next, I read a really short book. This is like barely 60 pages. I think it's barely 50 actually, to be honest. And that is Unspoken. This is a collection of untold intersex stories. This is collated from people in Australia and Aotearoa or New Zealand, and it's different stories and drawings that reflect on people's experience with being intersex and like doctors' experiences and kind of finding out who they were and navigating that. I feel like it was very interesting and eye-opening read because I didn't quite know a lot about it beforehand, especially not with how it is handled and spoken about in Australia. So I found this to be very interesting and enlightening and a very unique read and collection. Yeah, it was done in 2017. It was intersex people that came together to share moments in their lives that stayed with them, moments that changed them have now been brought together in this. Yeah, I feel like I don't really know how to talk about this, but it was a very interesting and unique read. Then the final book I ended up reading was the new Murderbot Diaries. This is book number 8, Platform Decay. I listened to this as an audiobook because my library had a copy, and this was pretty fun. It's not my favorite Murderbot book, but I still really did enjoy it, and I was very happy to be back with these characters and in this world and see a new little journey that Murderbot had to go on and all the chaos that it had to navigate as well. It was very murderous and interesting and entertaining and heartfelt at times as well. I think these books are getting a little bit old now, to be honest. I think they're still good, but I feel like there's only so much you can do, and I know they are coming to an end soon, but I feel like they should have ended with the previous book, or should have ended with the previous book, but I still thought this was really solid. I feel like I can't even tell you what it's about because there's so much that happens in all of these books that you just kind of got to go into them. But if you are after some fun sci-fi novellas, I highly recommend these. The series is mostly novellas, but there is the odd full-length novel within them as well. Now, I did mention that I did end up DNFing a book. I think it's only a temporary DNF. I might go back to it, but I just really wasn't feeling it at the moment, and I just don't want to force myself because it's just going to make the experience really difficult for me. And that was Yesteryear. This one is by Cara Claire Burke. I'd heard really good things about this, some mixed mixed things as well, but I was just really struggling with it. I just feel like I wasn't really in the correct mood. At the beginning, I was really enjoying it and found it to be very entertaining and interesting, but it just kind of felt like it was dragging on now that I am getting to that middle part. I think I am going to put a pause on it, and I'll maybe try and come back to it in a couple of months, but it's just not working out at the moment. But this is about a trad wife who gets sent back in time to the 1800s and has to try and survive. I feel like I maybe wish this was a novella. I think I wanted this to be a very quick read, and it just really wasn't that for me so far. So I will try again in the future, I think, maybe like I said, in a couple of months. I feel like this is kind of more of a summer read, so I might save it for then, but I'm about 170 pages through, so still a long way to go. This is a deceivingly long book, and I feel like because it felt like it was dragging on, that it was just the right call to DNF it and pause it. Okay, excuse the lighting changes as well. There is lots of cloud cover coming and going at the moment, so things are just going to be jumping around a lot. But I said before that I actually ended up purchasing 2 books. The first one was actually as part of a half-price book sale that Big W had, and I picked up Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy because it was only $8, so a very good bargain for that one. I've heard very mixed things about this. I really enjoyed Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. I think her writing style is very beautiful, even with talking about such harrowing things, and I've been very intrigued by this one. I think the cover is beautiful but gross at the same time. It's just a very interesting cover choice. But this is about just like a very inappropriate age gap relationship between a student and their professor, I think it is. Yeah, between a student and her creative writing teacher. I've heard very mixed things about it, but I really want to give it a go, and it's something I've been wanting to read, and because it was so cheap, I just really couldn't pass up on it, but I definitely want to try and pick it up. Then I also ended up picking up a new copy of Myrtle. I actually had a copy of this before. You'll see my reading vlog, but I had some water or something spill throughout my bedside table, and this was sitting there, and it got completely destroyed and was all gross, and I didn't know, I think it was water, but I'm not 100% certain what that liquid was, if it did come from plants or something, because I do have some plants stacked around there. But I ended up chucking it out just because it was so badly damaged and I didn't trust it. So I ended up picking up a new copy, and I redid all of the Myrtle puzzles I had previously completed, and I'm now into the 3rd set of puzzles, and I'm on number 62. So I am enjoying this. This doesn't really count as adding to a physical TBR though, since it is just a puzzle book, but I am really enjoying this one. It's also been a while since I actually did a check-in of my physical TBR. I feel like I haven't really been talking about it, so I'm gonna see if I can find the number. I feel like it is off, but I'm not too sure. It says that I'm at 169 unread books. That number will be going up in July because I bought some books this weekend at the Lifeline book sale. But if you want to find out what they are, you'll have to stick around for my vlog or next month's reading wrap up. But we're at 169 as of the end of June, so we'll see how we go with July and check in with that one. But I would like to make a bit more progress. I think I'm going to try and be a bit more selective with the books I am reading at the moment. You would have seen, but I picked a pretty ambitious July TBR. And I'm really second guessing a few of those books that are on there now just because of these weird reading moods that I have been in. So we're going to be a bit stricter with DNFing, whether that is a permanent DNF or a temporary one. And just if I'm not in the mood, I'm not going to be forcing myself. But I am really enjoying the book I'm reading at the moment, and I'm planning on starting another really fun book. So I feel like we're on the up at the moment. But yeah, I have spoken for long enough now, so let me know what your favorite book you read from June was. And yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.